but the way that all the cars were exiting after finally got a tire put on my truck. The reason why I was doing that is because my dog was in the truck and I didn't want to leave my dog behind. So by the time I was able to get the tire on the truck and I went to go north like I originally was, I was going right back into the fire again, and behind me was already burnt. So I just went south through all the burnt areas. So I went through the whole town of Paradise from top to bottom and saw everything that was burnt that was left behind. And I met up with the first responders of the fire crew at probably upper end of Paradise by Fast Strip gas station, Optimal Bar area, Bader Mine, and the cars that were lined up on there, they were all in the right lane. I was kind of expecting to see them in both lanes and all over the place,
all
but they were
down,
all in the right lane, stacked up, just going all the way down, and then all the roads coming in from the sides, same thing, all in the right lane, all the way, every single road basically coming into Skyway.
Were people in the cars? Were they just stopped, or were they, why were the cars there?
I was looking for people in the cars at first, and I take a glance and said, okay, nobody there, and then I got to one where I saw something that caught my eye. That looked kind of weird because it's hard to identify a body in a car. I looked and it looked like somebody was sitting down on the floorboard, like there's no seat there, like sitting really low in the car. And then I realized that, oh shit,
like they melted.
Yeah, the person's because the seat is burnt underneath them, so they sunk down really low.
Flesh, all
and
the
I
flesh
was
just
looking for people at like normal head height that you'd see somebody in a car that was unburnt. So I started noticing that these vehicles did have people in them.
So people were sitting there, they were stuck in traffic, and then they got torched.
Yeah, they were just down lower, so then I knew what to look for, and then I started seeing people in all the vehicles because I knew what it looked like for somebody to be in a vehicle that was burnt. And then I came across a school bus that was there, one of the big school buses, and
A yellow school bus?
yeah, and I was because I was looking in the cars and stuff, seeing which cars had bodies, and see how many, because I was curious on how many bodies there were. And when I saw the school bus, that's when I quit looking. I didn't want to look in it, so I just turned my head and made sure that I didn't look inside of it. I didn't want to see inside of it.
But you think that they were in there, children were in the school bus?
Yeah, I didn't want to find out.
Bro, it's like this. I went in. Holy fuck! There's nothing left. There's nothing left.
Tell me what was your first, when you first went, or when did you first experience it? What was your first experience of this?
Well, it would be probably Sunday night. That's when they started calling tow trucks in.
And the fire had started
Thursday morning.
So it took 3 days for them to call, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday for them to call tow trucks up there?
Well, you gotta understand, the whole town's gone now. There's nothing really.
Yeah, no people either. There's people are dead. So what do we got to rush for?
So you went up there with your tow truck, and what did you see?
I saw just vast. I mean, this used to be heavily forest area. I mean, it was a forest town, really.
Yeah, it was just woods.
Yeah, the woods. Really, pine trees everywhere. They called it the tall pines, parts of it. But this thing burned so hot, the asphalt bubbled up on the roads.
Yeah, the roads caught on fire.
Yeah, they had to put the roads out. What kind of shit is that?
So you drive up there, you see the cars, and you said there were people in them?
Well, yeah, there's people in just about all of them, I imagine.
Yeah.
Did you see any victims inside the cars? Did you see any? He said he saw bodies. There was the springs and the seats had melted down, and the people were just down low.
Sitting on the floorboard.
Sitting on the floorboard, or just sitting in the passenger seat. Just.
I saw that first video that they took off the air that we were talking about earlier. That one guy that
the one guy that
the girl that was putting her makeup on. When he took his camera and first panned inside the cars, you didn't see nothing. No, there was not. Doesn't even look like nothing's there. Your eyes are looking for something, but there's nothing there. But a few fragments of bone, and flesh. If there's any flesh, it's all the way down. Just I said, melted,
vaporized,
melted, whatever. It's gone.
It's hard to see the body inside of a car until you actually
looking
See,
for
you
something.
know, then you know what you're looking for then because you spotted it and it looks like it's not a body in there, but you know it is because you finally
It's mass-
spotted it.
It's just a
And then
piece
you look
of-
at all the other cars and you start noticing, holy shit, all the cars have a body in it.
Okay, all throughout town, there's multiple car pileups, and
you're a tow truck driver.
Yeah.
And so you've been seeing these cars because you're going up there
Yeah,
to Paradise.
absolutely. And yeah, there's so many personnel up there, so many emergency personnel. I mean, everywhere
Nothing
you
but.
look, there's nothing. Everything up there is everything but local cops. There's no local cops up there.
No Paradise Police?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any.
Well, they probably gave him relocated him and gave him immunity.
It's
or
their own
something.
backyard, you know, and no one wants to deal with that.
Federal trumps state, state trumps local.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it works. If FEMA came into Santa Rosa and took over the operation.
He didn't make it. Nobody made it down here. These people all got burned out. I was right down below them here, and my friend, as the car's on fire, you can see he's dead, and his mother. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, these people all got burned out. There's dead bodies in here. They're all burned. Every fucking one of them. You can see the bones in the front seats. These people got burned out in their cars like I almost did. Dead, dead, dead. Everybody here is dead.
Weapons of mass destruction, man. Mass murder is what just happened.
It's
up
murder.
there.
This is oh yeah. This.
Well, he was telling the story. How he had people trying to kick him off his motorcycle because everybody was panicking, trying to get out of the fire, and so they were trying
They
to.
wanted the bike.
They wanted the bike.
My girlfriend's nephew was up there, and he said he was coming. It was starting to singe his hair. That's how close it got, and he bailed out, and he stole a car. He's a car. He knows how to hotwire him real quick. No keys. He stole a car real quick. Boom. Got down the road, and everybody was jumping out of their cars because the wall of fire was coming their way, and he was like, "What are you doing? Get back in your car. You're not going to outrun this thing. Get back in your car." And he told several people that were running by to get in the car, and then he carved away through front yards and backyards and all kinds of shit, just plowing through yards.
But why originally did they get out of their cars? I mean,
Because
The cops
are
told
telling
lots
them
of
to
them.
get out,
Yeah,
run,
tell them to get out
because
and
they
run.
stop traffic because they're idiots and they don't realize they can go around the cars.
well, and these guys were saying that one lane was
kept them
completely
all down
stopped
one
and only
line.
one lane was open for access and
You don't need a
egress.
street. As far as I can understand, they haven't even gotten a percentage of it done. That's how many bodies there are.
That's what.
And
That's
how
the
many-
main thing I wish you'd get out there and get expressed across your website is fucking they're lying through their ass.
And it's possibly how many population of Paradise would you say?
Okay, put it this way.
Probably over 30,000.
When I was up there, I do know one of the cops that was up there. One of them. The rest of them I'd never seen, but one of them was up there that I knew. And he lived up in Paradise also. I don't know what he was doing up there. He's the only one that I noticed. Because I've been doing this for fucking 22 years, 23 years. And he said, man, cop said, man, it's so much fucking worse than they say.
The
It is so much
Wait,
worse.
say that again. I'm
total
sorry.
is over what they say it is right now. The first hour they were in there.
1,200
Oh, yeah.
was the first count. Now they're down to under 200, according to the doctor that was just here. So
they
there's
they had to have found the 200
First
people
hour.
that minute they rolled in there. They had to have had 200 people on their
Yeah,
list
right off the gate.
instantly.
Edgewood. How many died on Edgewood?
I know. Well, the trailer parks with the old people.
That's another thing.
They didn't expect anybody to get out of there. They didn't want anybody to get out of there.
I gotta go.
It's just by chance because of family members living in such close communities.
Right.
You know, the town's up there a few miles away, but we still notice things. We still look up, like the chemtrail. We notice things. And when they saw that fire, they called the people they knew up that way because it looked a lot closer than it was. And by chance, they got out of there with their lives. That's it.
And once again, I'm going to play the start of the Paradise Police dispatcher recording the morning of the event, telling people to stay and not leave, keeping them in homes.
Are we supposed to be evacuated or what?
No, you'll be notified. There's a fire north of Concow, up off of Highway 70. No danger to Paradise, okay?
Well, it says evacuation west side of Pence Road.
What says that?
Butte, fire.
Okay. Okay, we haven't been advised of that. If you have gotten a phone.
Wait, so but I was told guys were parked on Skyway until like 5 o'clock at night and couldn't go anywhere.
Correct. So why was Pence Road blocked? Why weren't they using it to exit? And when we got down past Line Saddle where Durham Pence and Pence Road meet, which will then take you, if you take Durham Pence, it connects to Clark.
Right.
They had that blocked. And the only reason they let us through is because our daughter's car was almost out of gas and we couldn't go down 70 to Orville to get out. But we had, what county was that? The sheriff that drove by, he was from, Berryville or Yuba County or something like that. Yeah. And we're like, man, how'd they get here so fast? I mean, they had police everywhere down the hill, directing traffic and
Let's do the math. If the fire starts at 6:30, 7:30 in the morning, let's say, and now it's 11 o'clock, you're saying you're leaving? Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's 3 hours to get from Yuba City that they're going to be able to alert, to call, to bring sheriffs in there? Are you kidding me?
Yep. I've never seen it so well set up. I mean, they had sheriff's flagging everywhere. Go this way, go that way, at every light. They literally directed us. We couldn't go anywhere near Chico. We had to go. They directed all the traffic from our end of the area. From Clark to Orville. From Clark to Orville. They shut the highway. They shut Highway 99 down and wouldn't let us get on to go to Chico. We had to go out to Orville and go all the way around through Durham and those little towns to get to Chico because they shut off the on-ramp and they wouldn't let us get on 99.
Why?
I don't know.
It's 12:30 in the afternoon. 12:30? It's 12:30 in the afternoon right now. And it's this dark. It's this dark. This is Wagstaff and Clark. We live that way. We don't know if the house is there or not. We're in Kmart parking lot still. We're in the middle of the parking lot. And embers are falling everywhere. And that's what's starting all these new fires. That one up ahead of us, it flared up just within seconds. And all it is a row of hedges.
This is a microbot. It doesn't look like much, but when it links up with the rest of its pals, things get a little more interesting. The microbots are controlled with this neurotransmitter. I think what I want them to do, they do it. The applications for this tech are limitless. Construction. What used to take teams of people working by hand for months or years can now be accomplished by one person. And that's just the beginning. How about transportation? Microbots can move anything, anywhere, with ease. If you can think it, microbots can do it. The only limit is your imagination. Microbots.
Yeah, so I was able to experience the fires firsthand in Northern California, and so the same telltale sign comes through of those nanotechnologies, and this is how blatant it is. That FEMA or which group? One of these groups actually posted a nanoparticulate accelerant, and that's just calling it out for what it is.
FEMA did that. I released that. I put it on my Facebook. Because FEMA released it that they were using there was nanoparticulate matter they found in the ashes.
So if you ask me, and you are, that is exactly what we're talking about. So that nanoparticulate. So really, it's not coming from me. This information isn't coming from me. This information is coming from pretty much you. And then then you take that and you put it on the video, and then watch those embers fly against the wind, hover in groups, and then find their way into cracks and crevices, because that's what they do. And they incinerate at such high temperatures. That's why the color or the spectrum, and you're not going to pick all that up on video of the cell phones, because they have filters in them.
That's the blue. That's the blue we see. We see the blue. Is that what you're talking about? When we see the blue light?
That is exact. Well, you're getting the blue light because of the heat of the incendiary device, which would be the nanotechnologies that are clustering together. And eventually they just turn into almost like a talcum powder. So that is just one spectrum of the attacks.
So what you're saying is what I'm learning too is these embers are basically nanobots. I mean, swarming nanobots of fire embers that are controlled in masses, and they artificial intelligence, and they can group together in any type of form or shape. The GPS, they can locate anything they want, and then they will incinerate. And then, as you were saying, after they incinerate, you see that white dust. That's them self-imploding, self-destructing. But they can manufacture themselves. They can self-replicate into much bigger sizes too, right?
Absolutely, and they don't necessarily have to be very large to be destructive. They just have to be of numbers. So when they replicate in numbers. But the size that I was able to witness, smelling firsthand with my own eyes. And I've been in a wildfire, a true wildfire. You can't call these wildfires. Wildfires do not selectively burn and not burn.
fire burns at a fuel rate. So you got to go back to raw science and raw chemistry, and that we know. And we know that everything has a flashing point. And that being said, with just a little bit of deployed common sense, you can decipher what's reality and what's a fictitious, made-up scheme of just a mantra. And the reality is that unless you have another technology at hand, wood cannot burn at the rate to melt aluminum. Now, coal can, but under controlled circumstances, like a forge. Well, a forest fire is not a forge. So what's
Plus, it has to
left
build heat. I mean, a fuel in a fire only gets up to 1,700 degrees on record. I mean,
and those are exasperated. I got to say, those are exasperated.
Still, it makes the point that whatever they're saying is bullshit. Absolute, complete bullshit. But now we've got...
I agree with you.
Yeah, and here comes these streaks of embers, and they start pooling, and then you've got them organized. Look at how organized they are, folks. Look at them patterned in straight lines, and they're all in together. They're not separate embers. They've all clustered. These are a cluster of embers forming a big, like U, around the guys that are walking around. How does that happen in a normal fire, or whatever the normal is? Oh, I forgot. This is the new Abby normal.
Yeah. Recording.
Coincidentally left untouched by the Paradise Fire. Yeah, it just happened to be a Masonic lodge in Paradise, California, on Clark Road, which was like the main thoroughfare on in Paradise. I say coincidentally because, well, you know my theory on coincidences. Coincidence that the buildings across the street and surrounding this Masonic lodge burned to the ground, and this lodge was left untouched. These pictures were provided by one of the family, a very good friend of mine who's been on the front lines helping relocate victims of the fire in Paradise since it happened. She snapped these pictures and sent them to me because she thought they were interesting. So yeah, here's the picture of the Masonic Lodge from a burned out lot right across the street from the lodge. I mean, a lot of this damage happened right down the street or right across the street or even right next to the Masonic Lodge, yet the Masonic Lodge was left standing without a scratch. And this isn't the first fire that this Masonic Lodge has made it through. You know, Paradise has had fires in the past, and this Masonic Lodge has managed to make it through fire after fire, unscathed. This is the most damage this building has sustained right here. Look at the building right next to it, demolished. Here's more a map, like a map view of Clark Road, which again, Clark Road was like main thoroughfare in Paradise, where a lot of the burned structures were along Clark Road. Masonic building, Masonic Lodge, just happened to be one of few buildings that had any damage whatsoever. If you look right here on this map, see that black dot with the green building? See that green building? That's the Masonic Lodge. Those red buildings around it are the buildings that burned to the ground. Well, the name of the lodge is Table Mountain Masonic Lodge, and when you search the internet for it, this is what you get as far as the image results. I am a part of a vast international conspiracy to make the world a better place. Kind of just begs the question, for who?
Viewers have written in asking if the fire detection cameras on Sawmill Peak or Flea Mountain caught the campfire in its early stages. Well, CAL FIRE says the cameras did record the fire but did not set off an alert when the fire started. CAL FIRE had the alarm feature turned off. They reasoned that the cameras set off they've been setting off too many false alarms when they detect any movement like a tree swaying in the wind.
They need cooler tanks to stop them from burning out. Because when they take out your home, when they take out you, like they did in Paradise, because Paradise was an EMP test, it was either accidental or it was actually a testing ground. It was a testing ground to see how quickly, how fast it could take EMP and how they could take those buildings out and incinerate. I don't know, the reports anything on 20,000 or 100,000 people have just been cremated. There's nothing left of them.